What's up, everybody? It's Matt from 9 Day Performance, and today is a different type of video. We're not gonna have our typical happy-go-lucky, we're doing great today. We have a problem with Baby Demon. Baby Demon is back from the dyno, and we heard a strange noise while we were on the dyno, and it comes to find out, it seems like something in the blower snout is hurt. So we're gonna go ahead and get the blower snout taken off the car so we can inspect it, find out what exactly is wrong with it, and we're gonna bring you guys along for the trip as we go. If you haven't already, like, subscribe, share. Let's get into this video. Let's go ahead and get this supercharger torn apart on the car. Alright, so as I'm getting this tore apart, I'm going to go ahead and give you guys a little bit of background as to what happened. We were on the dyno, we did about 6 pulls-ish, getting everything dialed in, and randomly we heard a rattling slash vibrating coming from the top of the supercharger slash the front of the supercharger, which is normally an indication of bearing issues. This supercharger was just freshly rebuilt from Kong. So we were kind of confused as to what the noise would have been because the bearings were just replaced. Then we spoke to Kong after the fact and did not realize that they couldn't replace the bearings on the back of the supercharger on the rotor pack because it's a 15 blower. I didn't know that at the time. I thought he could still do it because we have another shop that does it as well. So that was an oversight on my part, but the bearings were good whenever they checked them. So then what we started doing is tearing everything apart, getting the supercharger removed, and we found out what the issue actually was. It's not the bearings, surprisingly. It's not in the snout. It's actually in the front of the supercharger. Normally whenever I've ordered pulleys from Grip Tech or whoever, yes, they normally come non-assembled. However, I ordered this one from Kong, and I selected the box and paid for them to install the pulley as well. When the supercharger got back to us, what I did not realize was they didn't torque down the pulley. I mean, I'm not sure if it's an oversight necessarily on me or an oversight on them or what. I figured from what I would normally do that if I had someone installing a pulley on the supercharger, that the pulley would have been torqued down when they installed the hub and installed the pulley. So I didn't even check it. I just put the supercharger on and put the belt on and everything else after we finished the build. So what it was is the screws on the supercharger pulley were slowly backing themselves off of the snout, and it was causing the pulley to vibrate very bad when you turn the car on. Well, it mimicked a issue with the supercharger that we thought was bearings, and as you see here, I tore the entire supercharger apart trying to figure out what the issue was. I tore the snout off, tore the lid off, ended up having to replace like $300 worth of gaskets on the blower just to find out that it's not bearings, it's not bushings, it's just a pulley that didn't get torqued down when it was installed. So, crisis avoided. At the end of the day, I'd rather be safe than sorry, which is why we tore it all the way apart. And you see I'm rotating the rotors here. I'm trying to make sure that everything looks to par. I'm checking the bushings inside the supercharger, trying to see if I hear any play in the rotor packs or anything, and I didn't. And that's why I was kind of confused, and I was like, okay, well, I'm just going to pull everything off because I still haven't found the sound as of yet. So I didn't actually find the sound until I was on the floor with the supercharger, and I put the snout back on. After I put the snout back on, I started playing around, moving stuff around, and once I held the rotor pack with the snout on and tried to vibrate the pulley, I then realized that the pulley was loose. Whenever I installed it initially with the blower, no, I won't say that the pulley was completely loose. They probably did tighten down the bolts with like an Allen wrench or something like that, but they didn't have Loctite, they weren't torqued to specs, so they backed themselves off. That could have been a catastrophic problem if we would have not caught it in time. It could have cost us a lot. In the middle of a full pull, we could have lost all boost. We could have sent a pulley through the hood, could have sent that pulley through the side of the wall at the dyno that we were at. Could have caused detonation. We could have had tons and tons of problems, but luckily We avoided most of those problems. We got the pulley torque back down, got the blower back on the car, and then we decided to tackle two more issues that arose while we were on the dyno. One, blower speed. Two, our temps. The blower speed was a little bit higher than what we normally like to run. I mean, the 2.7 upper and the 10% lower, that's pretty much way past what the quote-unquote max is for the blower. But most of the time when we're pulling them down, it is, no matter what you do, because the factory kind of limits that. But at the end of the day, we know what our safe range is, and we were a little bit past that. So Ryan at FRP, we had a conversation, and he said, hey, you know, the cams that I create usually make power up to around 7,000 RPM. We can turn this one higher in the RPM range to make up for losing some boost at the lower RPM. So basically, we put a 285 upper, 10% lower. So we raised our shift points from 62 to 68. Therefore, being that, you know, he can still go out and have fun. He can still make the power. But he's going to make the power in the higher RPM now, which also in turn gives less drag. It's not as much weight because it's already rolling faster, if you see what I'm saying. But aside from that, we're making it so that basically when you're playing around on a normal basis, you know, people are going to go to 4,000, 5,000 RPM, 6,000 RPM, and we're not maxing out the blower at those speeds with this pulley. However, in a race mode, when he wants to actually race the car, he's going to be making that power and be able to shift and actually turn an extra 1,000 RPM almost from what he had. A little less than 1,000, but basically we made up for it in that manner because the stock blower did not like what we were doing. For some reason, these stock 15 to 16 Hellcats, they created them at Dodge where you can't service the bearing packs, which is kind of dumb, but they changed that with the newer models. But we just wanted to kind of change it up a little bit. Ryan felt safer putting 285 on the upper to kind of slow the blower speed down just a little bit. It's still going to make the juice, as you'll see here soon when we get it back on the dyno. Then we're going to tackle the other issue. That issue is cooling. We had an issue with our supercharger temps. They were getting very hot. I mean, it was 240, 250 degrees at some point on our intermediate manifold temps. So on full pulls. So it was getting hot. And what we didn't want to do also is destroy the bearings from it getting too hot. Another thing is whenever the motor gets hot, that can cause knock, which can cause it to start pulling timing and it loses power. Our IATs were high. Our blower temp was high. So we needed to find something to cool it down, which is where the idea came, in fact, that we needed to put an ICChiller on it, or an intercooler. And initially we thought it'd be a great idea to go with FI InterChillers. But we would soon find out that that was not the best move we could go with. And I'll get into that in a little bit, into the whole fiasco of what was FI InterChillers. I'm not going to tell you you should not purchase from them. I'm going to tell you my honest opinion on everything that happened, verbatim, what exactly went down, and you choose for yourself whether or not you want to get an FI InterChiller or whatnot. But we switched to a different brand after the issues that we had and had phenomenal results. But I'll get into that here in just a few. I'm going to go ahead and get this blower put back on. I'll come back to the video and we'll discuss the InterChiller issue that we had. Alright, so if you're back with me, I appreciate it, and appreciate you guys for watching the video. Make sure you've subscribed already if you haven't done so yet. Now we're going to get into what happened step by step with our FI InterChillers. When I spoke with the owner of Baby Demon, Jesus, I told him, hey, we have some cooling issues that are going on with the supercharger. We want to cool it down so we can, you know, protect the parts, protect the engine, make a little bit more power, make everything work properly like it's supposed to. And he asked for recommendations. I told him he needed the methanol or an InterChiller. Methanol has a lot more of a service type of deal, and he's going to have to make sure everything's full. And he wanted something more plug and play that he didn't have to deal with all the time. So we decided to do an InterChiller. If you look up the InterChillers for the Mopar platform, there's really only 2 brands that most people use. FI InterChillers comes up and ICChillers comes up. I looked at the 2, and to be honest with you, initially up front, the FI InterChillers website looked nicer. And I hate to say that that's the reason why we chose it, but I hadn't dealt with both companies to a great extent, and I looked at whichever site looked the best. And I called immediately to FI InterChillers, and I called and talked to, I believe it was Craig or whatever his name was. And I told him the situation, said, hey, we have a build, the build is done, I need something kind of quick, are you able to accommodate me? He said, oh sure buddy, I have, his exact words are, I'm here in Texas, I'm in Dallas area, I have InterChiller kits in stock right behind me, I have plenty ready to go. And I said, okay, well, how long will it take for you to send me one? He said, on average, it's about 2 days shipping to get to you. I said, okay, that makes sense. I said, I can do that. And this is on a Friday. So I told Jesus on Friday afternoon after I talked to FI, hey, we need around 2,000 more for the InterChiller, something like that. And he said, okay, cool. Now let's go ahead and get it started. So he's like, I'll send you the money tomorrow. I said, cool. So I called FI back and I said, hey, got a few more questions. Just want to make sure. I was like, is this kit plug and play? I see on your website, it says plug and play, and it's, you know, going to have everything we need for the InterChiller to work. He said, yes, everything you need. You know, we'll have all the parts you need, the InterChiller, the lines, whatever you need for the installation for the InterChiller, you'll have it there with you. And I said, is there anything else you need to add? He's like, no, you're good. He's like, we have everything. It's complete. It's a plug and play kit. So I didn't question anything more. I said, okay. I believe Monday or Tuesday, it came back where I said, okay, we need to go ahead and order this. It took the weekend for the money to process or whatever, so I wanted to make sure everything was good. And then we called FI back and said, hey, just make sure you still have the kits in stock. This is exactly how I said it. I said, hey, this is Matt from Night and Day Performance. I called you on Friday about the InterChiller kit for this Dodge Challenger that we built. It's a Hellcat, it's 15. I wanted to make sure you still had those in stock. And it was Kirk, that's his name. He said, yes, we have them in stock, not a problem. We can get you hooked up with one. We can get it sent over to you. I said, okay. And you said it's about 2 days to get to me, 2 to 3 days? He said, yeah. I said, not a problem, 2 to 3 days. I said, I should put it here Friday-ish. And I told Jesus, I told Ryan, hey, this is what we got. We got this coming in. We'll get tuning scheduled for Monday, the following Monday. Ryan was on board. Jesus was on board. All right, cool. Get the kit ordered, and I wait 2 or 3 days, which I should have called earlier. And I said, hey, Kirk, I haven't heard from you. You know, we discussed this issue that we had, and you said 2 to 3 days. And he said, oh, yeah, well, we had a lot of orders come in, and your kit is going to have to come out of the Australia warehouse. And I said, but that's not what you told me right before I ordered. I called you and I ordered it literally like within the next hour. And you said you had plenty in stock. So that doesn't make sense. And I got a little frustrated, not gonna lie. I was upset, aggravated, but I tried to hold my composure and I said, okay, Kirk, what do we need to do? What's going on? He said, well, it's coming out DHL Express. It's coming out of Australia. And it's gonna take on average 2 to 3 days for it to ship, and it does ship over the weekend because it comes on a flight normally. And I said, okay, not a problem. I said, when is it going to ship out? And this is like on Thursday that I called. He said, it's going to ship out tomorrow, and you should see it by Monday. Sounds like a good deal. Okay, cool, whatever. A few more days to our timeline. I don't care where the kit came from, whatever. Monday comes, and I call him back. I said, hey, Kirk, I haven't gotten tracking yet on my InterChiller. What's going on with it? He says, let me check real quick. And as I'm on the phone with him, I get a notification from DHL. Bing! Your shipment has been processed. Here's your tracking, and your shipment will go out today, on Monday. So I said, Kirk, well, how long is it going to take to get from Australia? He said, well, 3 or 4 days. So now it's Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, Friday. So now I told Ryan, hey, it's not going to be here. It didn't come in time. You know, I told him this weekend, I was like, hey, it didn't come on Friday. I don't know what's going on. I'm going to check on Monday. We're going to have to cancel our tuning session for Monday. And if you know about tuning sessions, tuners are very in high demand. It's hard to get them scheduled sometimes. Ryan works very well with me on this, but I've rescheduled twice now on him. One, because not really my per se issue. This time still not really my issue. Something that somebody tried to make a sale on. So Ryan said, no problem, just let me know when you get everything and you have it installed. And I said, all right, the guy said it should be here Friday. I look at DHL, it should be here Friday. The shipment comes in Friday afternoon. I'm in the middle of working on cars. I didn't get to open the shipment that exact moment. I opened it the following Monday. I opened the kit. I start pulling out the instructions. And one of the first steps in the instructions, which, let's see, I'll have a little bit snippet posted up here, just so you can see. It'll be on this side or this side. And I'll kind of post what I'm seeing. I'm not going to post their full instructions, but I want you to see what I'm talking about to know I'm not lying. The first step is about using your factory intercooler pump with it and plumbing the factory pump. It says step 1, plumbing your factory tank with your BMR Black Market Racing reservoir tank. I looked in my kit. I don't have a BMR reservoir tank. So I called Kirk and said, hey, remember that kit you just sold me that you said was plug and play and you would have everything that I need in the kit for this installation? I said, well, on your instructions, step 1 says I need this BMR tank. Where's the BMR tank? He said, oh, it doesn't come with that. Our kit is plug and play. It comes with everything you need, but you need the BMR kit to make our kit work right. I was like, what the hell are you talking about? You said everything would be in stock. You said you'd have everything for me. I asked if I needed additional. You said I didn't. And he said, oh, you don't need additional for my kit, but you need this other kit. He said, everyone should know you need an expansion tank. I said, well, not if I'm buying a plug and play kit from you that you said works. Not expecting to buy another kit to make your kit work. That doesn't make sense. I said, that should have been notated on your website. Should have been told to me on the phone. I called you 4 or 5 times. You could have relayed this message. And I said, but you know what, Kirk, it is what it is. How much is the tank? Do you have it? He said, well, I don't have it. You have to call BMR for it. So I called BMR. Very, very helpful, very nice people, nothing against them. They said, well, that tank is on back order right now. It's gonna be 3 to 4 weeks before we can get it to you. That's not gonna work for me. So I called Kirk back. I said, hey, what other tank can I use with your InterChiller system to make this work? I need something quick. His response was, we've only done our testing with the BMR tank, and that's the one you need to use. So you're gonna have to get that one, and you're gonna have to wait for it to come. I searched everywhere, nobody had it in stock. And of course, at this point, I'm very aggravated. My shipping times have been delayed. I've been lied to on the phone about when it would be here. And all across the board, it's been a fiasco. So I'm getting very pissed off. So then I said, okay, Kirk, whatever, let me figure this out. So I said, I'll look through the rest of the instructions on how this system gets installed to make sure I have everything. And if you look at his instructions, it says Hellcat plug and play kit. Sorry, I'm looking behind me at the instructions and referencing at the same time. They have YouTube videos on how to kind of install it. Their YouTube video literally goes into here's the car, here's it installed, this is where your stuff goes, have a good day. It doesn't tell you how to install their kit. You can figure it out, of course, but it's not a plug and play. And then as you're scrolling through the instructions, you see how to charge your refrigerant and X, Y, and Z. Okay, cool. But to be honest with you, I mean, it's not plug and play for you guys. If you don't know, you have to have AC systems and chiller or the charge systems and all that, which is fine. I have that. But if you're at home, you cannot do this install on your own without having AC equipment. And then it tells you your tuning changes are required. The next step, how to clamp hoses video and the tool you will need to do this. Now I'm getting mad again because once again, this is not plug and play. I now have to make my own hoses for the AC system. And his justification was, oh, there might be differences in the length of hose you need or whatever. And I'm like, well, if it's a Challenger, they're all the same body. There's no reason why my hose should need to be different. If I need a different size hose, then I should be able to make my own, but you should sell a kit that's plug and play. So that kind of pissed me off. And then it goes through all of your instructions on basically how to wire the system. Here is their diagram of how to wire the system. Here is their step-by-step instructions over on this side of how to connect your chiller to your coolant tank. If you're reading that like I read it, it doesn't make a lot of sense. Their instructions are horrible. And when I tried to call Kirk and ask about the instructions, it was more of a, oh, they're in front of you. Oh, they're very simple. They weren't really trying to help me at all. So I got aggravated and I told him, I said, hey, look, Kirk, I haven't installed the system yet. All I've done is open the box and look at your instructions. I'm missing this tank. I can't have the tank for several weeks. You said it was plug and play. I just want to return it to you. I was like, I want to return the system. I don't care what needs to be done. Just let me know. And this is the part that I mean, he did do a good job on this one to an extent. He told me, hey, I have a customer in Canada that needs the system. So instead of returning it to me, you can just ship it to them. Sketchiest thing I've ever done in my life when it comes to a return. And I said, okay, how does it work? He's like, well, you're going to pay the shipping up to him. So instead of me paying the shipping back to him in Dallas, or I guess back to DHL where it came from, he wanted me to send it to Canada. So now I have to pay for my system to get returned by shipping it back to Canada when he's supposed to be located in the US. He's not. He has a office in the US, but he's not here. So then I'm told, okay, ship it back. Once the customer gets it and opens the box, I'll confirm everything and I'll let you know once everything's good, and I'll send you your refund minus the shipping and minus the PayPal fees. So it ended up costing me like $400 to return a kit that I was not coerced into getting, but basically lied to get. Up until that point, it was everything's good. You got everything you need. You'll have everything perfect. And then when I got it, it's you need all this extra stuff. You don't have what you need, and I'm sorry. It's going to be on you to figure that out. So after I got aggravated and pissed off with that, I found the best company for InterChillers ever. ICChillers. ICChillers. I called Summit Goyle, and he was at the track in the middle of a race. He said, hold on for a second. I'm helping a guy tuning right now. Give me 5 minutes and I'll call you back. I called him back. He set me up a dealer account at his hotel that night. He gave me a discount to help me out on everything that got inconvenienced with FI InterChillers. He told me he'd have the kit out to me in 1 to 2 days. He told me I needed his kit along with the coolant reservoir tank expansion tank that he has in stock that they sell with it. He told me I'd have to cut the bumper, or I'd have to get his other bumper supports. He told me I'd need a special tool to be able to clamp the hoses, and everything. Like, up front, honest, this is what we have. We're at a race. It's gonna take a few days to get back. When we get back, we'll ship it to you. It'll take 2 to 3 days to get from Atlanta to you. And if you have any problems, let me know. Okay, cool. Ordered it, and I want to say we had one delay, 1 day, not a big deal. Summit told me, hey, had a delay, sorry, get it out. We'll get it out to you tomorrow. No big deal. I'm cool if you talk to me. The kit arrived, beautiful, beautiful quality kit. I'll show you the unboxing here after this in just a second if I can find the video. If not, I'm sorry, we had an issue trying to get all this rushed together that we didn't get all of our content together on it. But I'm gonna try to find those videos and post it next. If not, I'm sorry. But I can post some pictures of after with the InterChiller installed and the reservoir tank, everything. Top quality product, and I called Summit sometimes after hours, sometimes before hours, sometimes on the weekend. Summit texted or answered me back immediately. He went out to the workshop. He pulled the kits that he had. He showed me step by step. He circled the instructions. He showed the instructions versus what he had in his hand. He walked me through the entire process of any issues I had, any questions I had. He answered them at any time of the day, pretty much. I'm not saying to call the man at any time, but I will say I called him one night at, I want to say 8 p.m. I texted him at 8 p.m. and he responded. Another day was a Sunday at like 9 a.m. and he responded. Thank you, Summit. thank you to your team. Thank you to ICChillers. You helped us get this car back together. Their kit is very nice. Their instructions are a million times better. Are they step-by-step walking through? No, there's some stuff that they're modifying on it, but anything that's not in their instructions, Summit got for me. He took care of me, and I highly, highly recommend ICChillers for all your InterChiller needs. Their kit is fabulous. It works. It's great. Baby Demon's IC temps were on average, first fire ups 75 degrees. After cruising around for a while, it'd get down to around 55 degrees. When it's not in drag mode, when you flip the drag valve, it got down to like 40 degrees. So it was basically cooling down all these temps that were before in the 100 plus. Now they're down almost 100 degrees less. So if you're looking for an InterChiller kit, nightandayperformance.com. I have them. I am a dealer for ICChillers now, and I highly recommend their kit. Enough of me yapping. We're going to jump back into this. We're going to get back on the dyno over at Nemesis, and we're going to get Baby Demon finalized. Ryan's going to probably do a few pulls on it, and we're going to get it squared away so that we can see what numbers it finally makes efficiently. Are we going to hit 1,000? I don't know. You guys tell me in the comments if you think we're going to hit 1,000. I'll catch you guys in a minute. Let's go back and get back into the video and get out of this room.